Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from arteri.com. Today we're going to be looking at doing some simple watercolouring, and we're going to look at two different types of card. So this is 300 GSM, it's thick cardstock, and this is, I don't know what GSM this is, let me have a quick look. It just says £140, I'll have to look that up, but this is quite thick watercolour paper as well. So we're going to be trying out both of these. I'm going to be using an ink. You can use a dye ink, you can use Distress Oxide, just something that can mix with water. I'm going to be using a pigment ink to stamp the images, and that way the water won't interact with it. I'm using a watercolour brush, but you could just use a glass and a cup of water and a normal brush, whatever you have. I'm just going to be using this cheap stamp set, just stamping them on the pages and just having a go at colouring them. We're also going to be using watercolour markers. I got these, I think it was Crafter's Companion, I'll double check that. And we're going to be looking at watercolour pencils. So I'm going to start just by stamping 3 images on each card, just to see how we go from there. I'm using Versafine pigment ink. This is in the Onyx black. Right, I'm going to start with a little piggy, and I'm going to be using Distress Oxide. Very easy. I'll swap those cards around because I want to do it on the normal cardstock first. So you just put a little bit of ink onto either a glass mat or whatever non-porous surface that you have. And to use these watercolour pens, you just put a little drop on there and mix it up. But obviously if you have some normal paint brushes and a cup or a glass of water, just make sure you don't soak it too much. Right, just start colouring. I should have chosen a darker pink by the looks of it. It doesn't look as though this is going to show up very well. But never mind, it's just to show you the different methods that you can use and how they look on the different cards. The one thing I do like about watercolouring is that if you make a mistake, if you go out to the edge, it's very easy to clean up. I'm sure I'll be showing you that before I'm finished. I'm not going to go into anything fancy like all your different shading or anything like that. It's just to show you the different methods that you can use and how easy they are. Some people are afraid of colouring when it comes to the stamps, but you needn't be. If I can do it, anybody can. I just like a little bit extra for the snout, just to make it a tiny little bit dark. I'll just put a little bit more down. And there you can see the little piggy. Not perfect, but I wonder if I'll get a better effect on the actual watercolour paper. I'll just do the exact same thing using the ink. Yeah, that seemed to cover much better, faster. I'm going to put a little bit more down like I did with that other one. Like I said, nothing fancy, no fancy shading or anything like that. Just to show you the different effects you can get. Can you tell the difference? I mean, obviously the paper's a different colour, so Not sure which one you prefer. I'm not sure which one I prefer, to be honest. Right, I am now going to move on to the little bunny, and for that I'm going to be using the watercolour pencils. What colour should the little bunny be? A nice brown, because I don't have the grey. I do have a load more watercolour pencils, but I can't be bothered to go and get them. So this is fairly easy. You can just colour around where you want the darker areas to be. I mean, you can just colour it in how you like, but if you want to, you can again take some water and just go around, and it should react and blend out. Oh, that was easy enough. Quite like that method actually. Try it on the watercolour paper, exactly the same. Yeah, I quite like that. I actually quite like that method. It's nice and quick and it gives a nice blend. Yeah, I'm liking that the best so far. We'll see how we go on with the little ducky. Right, for the duck, I'm going to use these watercolour markers. Similar way to how I've used the pens. I mean, you don't have to blend them out if you don't. Whoops. If you don't want to, you don't have to blend the colour out. You can just colour as is using the watercolour markers. I think one end's a brush and one end is like a tip. I'll use the brush. Yeah, I've gone out of the lines a bit there. I've either gone out of the lines or it's bleeding through. I'm not sure which. I'm not liking that at the moment. Let's see if I can fix that up a bit. It's not looking so great. It's probably just me. I'll just fill everything in just so we get a better idea. I'm not going to bother blending this out. Yeah, that hasn't blended so well. It could be me. It could be perhaps I didn't put enough colour on. So I'll try to put a bit more on this using the, is that the brush? No, using the brush end. Yeah, that's definitely blended better on the watercolour paper. But it could have been, like I said, I didn't use enough of the colour on that. Excuse me. Try this again. Yeah, that seems to have blended a lot better. I like that. I think I just didn't put enough colour on there, but to be honest, it feels lumpy, like raised up. I'm not sure if you can see that. But it feels like raised up. I'm not sure why that's happened. You can see that there. That's really strange. So that is watercolours using on the 300 GSM card. So that was the ink, that were the pencils, and there were the markers. And I have to admit, I do like the dedicated watercolour card better. You can absolutely still watercolour your die cuts on 300 GSM card. It's barely gone through. It's only really gone through on that last one using the markers for some reason. I'm not sure what I've done wrong there, but I really do like this better using the watercolour paper. That's really nice. So everything's blended nicely. Pig, the rabbit and the duck. I think they look really nice. They would look nice on a card because it looks as though you've made an effort when things are blended like that. But like I say, you could absolutely still do that if you wanted to, your ink or your watercolour pencils. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while now, sort of test out the different ways to watercolour, because I really like the effect. I think watercolouring's absolutely gorgeous effect. Right, the audio for the next part of this video is so abysmal I had to delete it and just do a voiceover. So please excuse me. I have been looking at other ways to watercolour, and I'm going to show you a different way you can do it using the watercolour markers. All you have to do is add a little bit to your non-porous surface, in this case my glass mat, and then you can mix it with water and then use that with a paintbrush to add to your die cut, if that makes sense. Add as much or as little as you like. Just take your brush, add a little bit of water, mix it with the marker ink, and then just start colouring. I'm now going to add a little bit of brown to that green and mix them together just so I can get a little bit of a darker green for the lily pad. Now I'll finish off the rest of the image just using the colour without adding any water to it. I actually think that turned out quite nicely. I do like that. Yeah, very cute. I think my all-time favourite colouring medium is acrylic paint because it is so versatile. You can use it straight out of the tube, you can water it down, use it as a watercolour, you can use it as a wash, you can just do all sorts with it, and you only need a really small amount for doing something like this anyway. So I'm just going to get a tiny amount on my brush and then add some water to it, and you will just see how much that makes. I'm now going to add just a small amount of white acrylic paint to the brown just to make it lighter so I can colour his little face. And there he is, the cheeky little monkey. Nothing fancy, nothing elaborate, but very cute all the same. The final method I'm going to show you is using actual watercolour paints. You can tell that they are made for watercolouring because out of all of the methods that I've used, these cover absolutely flawlessly, as you will see. Absolutely beautiful coverage you get. So all I'm going to do, I've stamped a couple of images there, and I'm just going to use, I think it's some kind of yellow and a really nice green, and I'm just going to colour them and we'll see how we go. I'm just going to add a little bit of paint to the glass like I did with the last one and a little bit of water. I'm adding the water to the brush and then just dabbing it on the glass and then painting with it. I will be going over the leaves a second time once they're dry, just to give them a little bit of shading, just to see if I can add a little bit of dimension to the images. think those two colours actually look really nice together. The leaf isn't bad, the main one. I think I've done okay with the blending, but it's not really my forte. But that's it. They are all the methods that I can think of for adding watercolour to your die cuts and your other projects. If you can think of any more, please let me know. I would like to know which ones you've tried, which ones are your favourite. All your comments are always welcome. So please do feel free to post in the comments on my website, on my Facebook page, anything like that. Any interaction is so welcome and so much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching if you managed to stay with me this long. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye now.